Hello everyone, Corey Creedy here from Social Fresh, here with Chris Brogan. Thanks for spending a little time with us.
My pleasure, Corey.
Chris just finished his talk here, a keynote at Social Fresh East 2013. And so we're going to ask a few questions. What do you think?
I think that's perfectly fair.
All right, cool. Let's talk about, your presentation was about a lot of great stuff. Let's talk about you first though. You've had a lot of followers on social media and all that over the years, but more recently, what are you doing now?
I would say one thing that I'm doing now is I'm working a lot more on creating larger, more lasting content. So I'm writing a lot more. I've been publishing mainstream books for a while, but I'm also publishing ebooks. I'm also doing a lot with making more what they sometimes call cornerstone content. So I'm trying to work on more content development because I still engage quite a lot on the social platforms, but what I'm trying to figure out is how do I make more lasting value? And so chatting with somebody and answering a question on Twitter is one thing, but making something that I can really give away and make useful to more people, and that's kind of a better use of my time. I'm looking for ways to use my time a lot more leveraged than I used to.
Yeah, and I've seen some of your posts about that, being more careful about your time and things like that. How does that compare to what you were doing a few years ago, and is it working?
A few years ago I was just running wild. I was just doing everything I could to try to make business happen, and I think we should do that. I mean, I think there's always a phase in our life where we just don't know and we just try everything. And what's changed for me is that now that I've settled into ways that I could be helpful, I mean, I was working with very large companies and I've chosen not to as much, and I'm working more with the individual. But of course, to scale that, I have to change my price points because it turns out individuals don't want to spend $25,000 a day. And the other is that I have to find out ways that I can deliver on the business value that a solo person might want, or that somebody who's working inside an organization wants, when they maybe don't convince the boss for like a full-on consultation. So I've really changed and sort of made a la carte a lot of what I've done, and the way I've done that is through creating content that could be there when I'm not there so that I can scale better.
Very interesting. So now in your talk, we know you're strong following on Twitter for quite a while now, but yet in your talk and in your speech you focused a lot on a couple of different platforms, and yet they seem very different from each other. So correct me if I'm wrong, email and Google+.
Email and Google+.
And yet they seem kind of different. Sure. One's been around forever, one's kind of new. Why those two?
So email is a much deeper response. People check their mail more often than they seem to say on surveys. They react more to mail than they do to a social request, and they put a lot more value in it. I mean, when we go to look and see who's upset with us, we check our text messages, we check our email, and then we might go to the social web. And our significant other, our boss or whatever, that's who we're looking to see who we need to please first. They are in either the inbox or in the text messages or whatnot. That's why. On Google+, it's because out of all the social platforms, that is the one that's shared out to all these places. And so the opportunity is that you have to go with the one that has the #1 search engine behind it. I mean, Facebook is not indexed by Google. Twitter is not indexed by Google. I still like Twitter. I've had a long time experience on it, but I'm finding response, return on response, real interactivity is happening more that leads towards business or towards colleagueship that I want via that platform.
Interesting. And so it seems like a lot of people are focusing on Google+, not so much for the conversation, but more for the effect it may have on search engine optimization. That's something I work a lot with. But you're saying even the interactions and the conversations, you're finding it to be superior on Google+?
No question. I'm at the point where Twitter feels like a snack candy and Google Plus feels like maybe tapas, and I'm actually getting a bite out of it. Now, yes, I do want it for search optimization, but I'm just finding that the caliber of somebody who spends more time is spending that time, thinking thoughtful responses to things on Google Plus, whereas in 140, pretty much anyone's willing to respond, and that means that the quality can go down in what you have for interactions, because it just takes you a second to reply.
And you've been working with Google Plus for a while. You wrote the book on it fairly early on.
I did.
Are you seeing a lot of people, the ongoing joke about Google Plus is it's a ghost town, right? Are you seeing the numbers increase too, besides the conversation?
Google reported over 500 million users after a year and a half of use. And so Twitter has 240, Twitter just passed 140 million users after 7 or 8 years. So Google has reported 500 million. Let's say that a bunch of those are accounts that people don't even know they have, so they don't even use them. Let's cut the number in half. That's 250 million users. Okay. That's still double Twitter. So you have to go down to cutting what they say they have in a quarter before you connect to Twitter in 1 year. So being a ghost town, it's like saying I bought an empty fridge and there's no food in it. So to me, what people are having a problem with Google Plus is they can't find the people that they already follow on all the networks they already follow.
Yeah.
And what they're not looking to do is look for conversations, because over there you follow by interest and you can really connect to some great stuff. What's going on behind the scenes in there is like great community stuff, and also the hangouts and live video experiences. So there's just a lot of value happening there. You know, the Dalai Lama, Desmond Tutu, President Obama, and the Pope have all been using Google Hangouts. So yeah, I know nobody goes there.
Yeah, and we've seen the same thing at Social Fresh. And I know personally I've worked a lot with Google Plus early on. So it's a good comment for those that are attending Social Fresh or that follow Social Fresh. We have kind of a mix. There's a lot of marketers, there's a lot of brands and agencies, but there's also people that are just interested in social media. And your comments may go a little bit against the trend. A lot of people are saying Facebook, that's where it all should be. But you're saying Google Plus, email. I think it's a good takeaway for our audience.
I've seen $0 out of Facebook. Now, maybe I'm just doing it very badly. I don't know. I mean,
I doubt it.
No, I mean, I really maybe am, but I don't see business value there, and I do get it immediately in Google Plus. Yeah. So, I mean, not even hardcore like, here's my link, buy my dumb thing, but I just don't even see downstream value there. Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if I ran a restaurant, I might have a different take, but I don't have that take.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your insights. Thanks for coming down to Tampa. I know there's a lot going on in Boston. For those that watch this after the fact, we're right in the middle of all that's happening in Boston, in lockdown as we speak right now. So please have a safe trip home.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks
Appreciate
again.
it. Thanks, Corey.